Ho, ho, ho. I just feel like making play-by-plays right now. Not that I need to, but there's something about spirit folding shit and the forces fighting forces. And I wanted to talk about something. As you can see, I made it back in my mom's house. See, it's weird how spirit does that. Through watching this process and knowing more than anyone should know about it, and being the central subject matter of what's the matter with everyone, it's given me such weird, great insight. And I wanted to share something about that. Like, and it's dangerous because, okay, so, right. Spirit's always folding changes and such. Well, which also comes into play, like, for instance, smoking cigarettes. Like, things don't just start and stop. And all those things in between are used for something. And what they're being used for, it's hard to define. And it all comes down to like this healing process and this evolution process within each of us. And half the time, I think that what seems like plain as day, like, fuck, these people around me or whatever are planning and plotting things. At the same time, I feel like, man, they're possessed. Like, they don't know what they're doing. They can't see it, and they're being used like a puppet. And I can't do nothing about it. And so that's why, naturally, I've always just forgiven. Just get over it, just move on. At the same time, one has to speak up. But then it causes extra conflict. And that's tricky as fuck when the spirit's already got you in its sights. It wants to blow your head off at the same time as it thinks that your head belongs on their head. For what reason? Who fucking knows? So after I saw my mom the last time and there was a confrontation, I don't know whether she saw the video or what happened after that. But then she was down for 3 days. And she needed to recover. Spirit shot her right back in the face. It didn't help anybody. It didn't make me feel any better either way. My toothache is starting to kill me. But I have an appointment tomorrow that I had to set up 6 weeks ago. But in December, I went in to get it fixed. And the dentist took $150 from me and said, oh, well, I don't do that here. Thanks, see ya. Go find somebody else. I'm like, fuck. And we don't take Sooner Care insurance. Oh. But your old job signed you up for that, but it's useless, and nobody takes it. That's retarded. Well, then, in December, while I was at the hotel, then, out of the blue, I got hooked up with insurance. Just a phone call, and I'm like, yeah. And I had the money, and got it. Okay, so I've been paying for great insurance, and haven't been able to use it while I've needed that money for other things for 4 months now. Then I go to set up my dentist appointment, and there's only one place in the whole state that will take it fully, and it's 3 hours away. I don't have a car. What the fuck? Really? What kind of fucking curse spell work is on this planet? Like, god damn. Nothing can be easy, straightforward. What are we paying for if nothing ever works? But what works is, going to get a loan and get a monster truck and driving around, like that works, even though that looks stupid. But hey, that's easier than fucking getting a tooth fixed when you have insurance. And so my insurance is going to run out in a couple days. But I have it. and I have an appointment, but it's in another town. So I might be able to get there now, since I'm back and I can visit my mom again. But my stepdad's out of town, so there's no vehicle. Because the other vehicle, the transmission went out on the charger. And so it's in the shop. He's in Minnesota. Everybody's working tomorrow that has a vehicle. But we might be able to set something up so I can get in to do it. But the insurance, they'll have to submit it. So hopefully it won't cost too much up front. Just to get in and get it done. Because I might as well have a cigarette put out in my fucking eyeball and walk around all like with a tooth problem. Then nothing can beat that. Like, other than amputation without painkillers or something seriously wrong with your eye. Like, that's one of the worst things in the world. So that's what I'm fighting now. It's toothache. But the solution's right here. It's so hopefully, I pray to God that my tooth is fixed. It'd be one thing off of my problems list. That even if the worst case scenario, it's still the best case scenario without a toothache. The best case scenario of being a millionaire and having your feet up and having everything in the world and having 100 girls lined up just for you to do whatever you want to. None of it fucking matters if you have a toothache. So that's where Spirit's journey is today. And on this innocence thing about divinity, it's weird because the more you know, the less you know. But it gets to a point where you can see how much you know, and you can see all the sides and how everybody got that way. You can even see the spirit speaking from them, talking back in their own face, and trying to grab you at the same time while playing innocent. It's like the devil in the details all around and everybody. And so that's why they had to divide the world up all fucking weird in order to keep the spirit down. That's why it's the Holy Spirit. But yeah, the Holy. Who's louder in an exchange? The spirit's louder in exchange, whether anybody's paying attention or not. Well, what fucking exchange? What are we exchanging? Oh, what's changing? How do we get it to work for us without ruining the process and being caught in like you just have an assembly line and you just wake up in the morning, you push the button, and then everything else takes care of itself. And then at night you go and you push the button, turn it off, and then the money ends up in your bank account. But then what do you do with the rest of your fucking life? You know? And so I'm always caught as the most innocent person around, and the most dangerous person around is not a danger to anyone. And I'm the super genius around, but fuck, you can't tell anybody the answer. And if you do, well, then more often than not, they'll do the exact opposite thing. And shit, managing. When I was at church, that was a good experience because it reminds me of how freaking innocent everyone is. No matter how tough, how smart they think they are, everyone's innocent. And everyone's fucking guilty of sin. But like the conversation about how we're all, each person, like, the spirit's ladder and exchange right up in everybody's fucking grill. Like the medications you take and the issues you have. Spirit's just telling you what's wrong with you and how to fix it. As if you could read it, and it's going to have to fix itself even if you can read it, because the mind fights the mind. But the whole reason you need the medicine is because the mind's attacking the body, or it's running away from the body and it's not protecting the body. And so then all this other shit comes in as a wall. That does it help, does it not help? Like, can you just look at the bottle and you're like, okay, it's methyltrexate. Okay, methotrexate. Oh yeah, now I'm relieved. Or do you really have to take it? And taking it, is that really going to help you or not? You know, and then, well, you don't want to take anything longer than you need to, but when you go to the doctor, they give you directions. Well, but you're free to take it however you want to at the same time as spirit's guiding, and spirit is going to do it how it wants to do it. And everybody's going to have to learn from their mistakes, but there's no such thing as a mistake. And so, how challenging is it to, like, that everyone's relying on God, like, one way or another? And how sad it is, like, how such devoted and innocent people come to church and they have nowhere else to go, but that's where their group is. But then the world outside is cold and harsh. And that is a place of peace and innocence. And it just feels like a flower garden. But then almost everyone there, spirit has attacked them against itself. And by looking for and relying sometimes in God outside of ourselves, that's what causes the things to happen to us, especially when it has to do with our own bodies and our relationships. And so, by clinging on to each other for salvation and clinging on to the church and then clinging on to, well, I'm trying to be a good person, so, I'm going to follow the directions, then that sets one up to be a failure to oneself. But then to go, well, I can do this all on my own and God's got me no matter what, then you can be healthy as fuck, but there's nobody there for you. How do you help people? How does anybody help themselves? It's a challenging world. But I just wanted to add that in here. Well, I'm getting some other things sorted out. Probably do some kind of specific reading tonight. And maybe a stick to Mancy. I don't know. That's fun sometimes, But it's mainly fun, and it fits with the word of Sticktomancy and spirit telling a story through a broken story randomly right in front of our face, revealing the truths because one has to witness something in order to believe it or to understand it. And the person doing it has to have submitted to the process and know that they're the fool leading, like George Washington riding on his horse in reverse. You're going to have to look like the jackass anyhow. And so it makes sense to have a couple drinks or, a drink and do that. And at least it serves a purpose rather than drinking just to get drunk or just to get into spirit and dance around the room and or to get into that because that's all just bleeding it out and none of it gets saved. It's living the experience, and then once it's done, well, then you crash out and you wake up with a hangover. Might as well at least have something from it. And I like to use it to blend the edges because everything goes together anyhow. And what better way to reveal that? And yeah, get my tooth fixed tomorrow anyway. So let's hope I do. And I have these 3 bottles of bootleggers. Obviously, I don't need to drink, don't want to drink, don't know what I'm doing otherwise. But there's no right and wrong. You know what I'm saying? And the healing journey is uphill both ways. Like how weird it is that to others, I suppose it looks in reverse, where it's like, oh, I got into this and then my life started going downhill and then Christ saved me and then I start fixing myself and now I'm back up here. For me, it's like two times that and it's just been a straight road. So there's no right or wrong in things and everything serves its purpose and has to balance out in the long run. And it's best to get all the hard shit out of the way first. And when things are done, they finalize themselves. And there's not really a reason to go back. You're like, the process contains itself because it's spirits somehow handed it off to another thing. And so then your attention and whatever desire has paired up or paralleled or switched over and got a new car, so to speak. Oddly, like how I'm needing to quit smoking. Well, but we're always smoking. That's the weird joke, whether we're smoking or not. But those divided moments of stepping aside to have a cigarette or that craving for no reason makes one and makes the spirit have to look at itself beyond what a person can see, like to know, oh, well, this is bad for me or whatever. Well, what's good and bad for us is not clear. It's kind of the metaphoric sick joke of a vaccine. How every vaccine contains mercury. Mercury's poison. Yeah, but that's how they keep them all sterile. And so you're going to be poisoning yourself, but one vaccine could cause you to get cancer. It might not happen today. It might happen in 40 years, just from one vaccine you ever got in your entire life. But everyone has to get vaccines when they're in school. But everybody doesn't get cancer. But at the same time, it's different when you get vaccines for different things. And, you're getting a shot of the disease in order to make sure you don't get the disease or to make sure that you get it, but your body gets immunities. And that's counterintuitive, but it's the truth. Spirit is the strangest force in the universe, and it has everything to do with consciousness. But how did consciousness build the entire universe and everything into structure and organized and all this shit before we ever got here? Everything that man's ever made, we had to mirror what was already done. And the more we did that, the more the ground cursed us and said, hey, this is my shit. This is my shit. Quit copying me. And we're like, what? You talking to me? You're the dirt. You fucking do what dirt does. I'm the devil. I'll turn you into bricks. I'll build a fucking house. Keep talking to me like that. Oh yeah? Well, I'm gonna bring the rain and an earthquake and tornado. Oh, well, maybe I'll just dig a dugout house. How about that? And I'll live in you. And then you can be the devil. You can protect me. How about that? Just don't let it flood. Oh yeah, so then like I'm down to my last few bucks and a couple cigarettes last night, and then I go by a friend's house, and then out of the blue he's like, "Oh hey, while you're here, somebody gave me a bunch of random packs of cigarettes like a year ago when I quit smoking. You want them?" I'm like, I guess. So he gives me 10 packs of cigarettes, so I don't have to buy any, but I don't need them. But the spirit's doing it. It's like, okay, fine. Here you go. Okay. I wonder how I can get that to work in my favor with other things. As soon as I quit it, then try to get away from it, then it's just going to pile it on me like ice did. until it's done. Well, shit, I don't want it to happen with a woman that way. Or I just run away from everyone, and then one shows up, and then she's gonna fucking kill me and bag me up and take off with what I got left. Well, worse than any of the other ones ever did. Well, I think it's time to go. I'll talk to you later.